The Jimmy Kimmel live studio was already tense before the cameras turned on. Not chaotic, not loud, just tense in the way that happens when everyone in the room knows something might go wrong, and no one's sure who will pull the trigger. But tonight was electric with anticipation. A producer had just informed Jimmy, "We got the footage. The Scientology documentary clips." He has no idea. Tom Cruise was scheduled to appear as the lead guest. It had been pitched as a celebration of his new Mission Impossible film, a discussion about doing his own stunts, his dedication to cinema. But that was just the version the public saw. Behind the scenes, there were emails, conditions, and warnings. Tom had only agreed to appear if the conversation stayed focused on his films. That meant no Scientology questions, no personal life ambushes, and absolutely no surprise footage. Jimmy Kimmel's producers had agreed. Or at least they said they had. But just minutes before they walked onto the set, Jimmy got the final go-ahead from ABC Legal. The footage is fair use. Air it. And Tom came prepared to talk about movies, not his faith. When Tom finally stepped onto the stage, the energy was explosive. The audience erupted in screams of genuine excitement. Tom Cruise was Hollywood royalty, and he commanded that respect. He walked with his signature intensity, waved to the crowd, and sat. Jimmy was already smirking, that troublemaker expression barely contained. He started professionally enough. Jimmy said, "Tom Cruise, everyone. The last real movie star. Still doing impossible stunts at 61. Tom smiled genuinely. He said, "Thanks, Jimmy. You know, it's all about giving audiences something real, something they can't get anywhere else." They discussed the new film, Tom's training regimen. Then Jimmy's tone shifted slightly. Jimmy said, "Speaking of real, we have some footage of you being very real about your beliefs." Tom's smile flickered. He said, "My beliefs? We're here to talk about Mission Impossible." Jimmy pressed a button. He said, "Let's take a look at this." On the screen behind them, grainy footage appeared. Tom in a Scientology meeting, speaking passionately about suppressive persons and clearing the planet. Tom stood up instantly. Not dramatically, like a coiled spring releasing. He said, "You agreed. No personal life. No religion. This was about my work." Jimmy tried to play it off. He said, "But Tom, you're such a passionate guy. People want to see all sides." Tom's voice was controlled fury. He said, "All sides? You mean the side that signed a contract saying you wouldn't do exactly this? The side that trusted your word?" The audience was dead silent. This wasn't entertainment anymore. Jimmy tried humor. He said, "Come on, it's just interesting to see." Tom stepped toward his desk. He said, "Interesting? You know what's interesting? That you need to ambush guests to get ratings. That you can't do an honest interview without gotcha moments." Now, what happens next is exactly why Tom Cruise rarely does talk shows anymore. They don't want you to see what happens when Hollywood's most professional actor finally loses his cool. When someone who controls every aspect of his image gets betrayed on live TV. Hit that subscribe button right now before they scrub this footage. Because Tom's about to reveal exactly how these shows operate. Tom turned to the audience. He said, "You want to know how this works? They promise you one thing, then blindside you. They smile to your face while setting traps. This isn't journalism. It's betrayal for entertainment." Jimmy got defensive. He said, "It's public footage." Tom spun on him. He said, "So is your divorce proceedings. Should I have brought that? Your DUIs? Your comedy before you got sanitized for TV? All public record, right?" Jimmy's face went red. He said, "That's different." Tom laughed, but it was dangerous. He said, "Different because it's your privacy? Your choices? Your past? The rules only apply to guests, not hosts." He walked back toward the screen, still showing the footage. Tom said, "You know what I see here? A man practicing his religion. In private. In a space meant to be safe. Filmed secretly and used as a weapon years later. That's not journalism, Jimmy. That's stalking." Someone in the audience started clapping. Others joined. Jimmy tried to regain control. He said, "People have a right to know." Tom's intensity cranked up. He said, "Know what? That I have beliefs. That I practice a religion? So does half of America. Should we secret film everyone's prayers? Everyone's confessions? Everyone's private moments of faith? He pulled out his phone. Tom said, "You know what? Let's call my lawyer right now. Let's discuss contract violation on air. Let's talk about how you obtained footage from a private religious gathering. Let's make this really interesting." Jimmy panicked. He said, "That's not necessary." Tom was already dialing. He said, "Not necessary? Like ambushing me wasn't necessary? Like violating our agreement wasn't necessary? Like turning my faith into your content wasn't necessary?" Security started moving, but Tom noticed. He said, "Oh, perfect. Can't handle the consequences, so you need muscle. The guy who does his own stunts versus the guy who needs bodyguards for conversations." He addressed security directly. He said, "I'm leaving. Don't touch me. I know exactly how much force is legal, and I've got better lawyers than ABC." Tom looked at Jimmy one last time. He said, "You know what the difference is between us? I've never pretended to be anything other than what I am. You pretend to be America's friend while stabbing guests in the back." He started walking off, but stopped. Tom delivered his final line with movie star precision. "My movies might be fiction, but at least I'm honest about it. Your show pretends to be real while everything about it is fake, including you." He walked off to stunned silence, then building applause. Jimmy stood there, completely exposed. And what happened next sent shockwaves through Hollywood. After Tom's exit, the studio was in chaos. The audience was divided but largely sympathetic to Tom. Whatever they thought about Scientology, they'd just watched a betrayal in real time. Jimmy tried to minimize. He said, "Well, some people can't handle transparency." Someone shouted, "You lied to him." Another voice, "That was a private religious meeting." Jimmy's composure cracked. He said, "He's a public figure." "So are you," someone else called out. "Want us filming your private moments?" The show limped to commercial, but the damage was catastrophic. Meanwhile, Tom hadn't left the building. He was in the parking garage on a conference call with his legal team and publicist. His lawyer was clear. They violated the contract explicitly. "We can sue for breach and potentially defamation." But Tom was thinking bigger. He said, "No, let them air it. Let everyone see what they did. The lawsuit threat is enough. The real damage is to their credibility." Within minutes, his publicist released a statement. "Tonight, Jimmy Kimmel Live violated a written agreement not to discuss Mr. Cruz's personal life or religious beliefs. They ambushed him with illegally obtained footage from a private religious gathering. This is not journalism. This is religious persecution disguised as entertainment." The statement went nuclear. Hashtag Team Tom started trending immediately. But here's where it got interesting. Celebrities from all backgrounds started defending Tom. John Travolta tweeted, "Whatever you think about our religion, filming private religious meetings is wrong. Period." Surprisingly, even non-Scientologist celebs chimed in. Chris Pratt posted, "I'm a Christian. If someone filmed my prayer group and ambushed me with it, I'd walk too." Religious freedom means freedom from persecution. Jewish, Muslim, and Hindu celebrities echoed similar sentiments. This wasn't about Scientology anymore. It was about privacy and religious freedom. Within hours, ABC was in full crisis mode. Religious organizations were threatening boycotts. The footage they'd thought would be comedy gold had become radioactive. Legal experts weighed in on cable news. One said, "Cruz has a strong case. Using secretly filmed religious gatherings for entertainment purposes could violate multiple laws." Jimmy tried to address it the next night, but his apology felt hollow. He said, "We always strive to be respectful of all beliefs." But the damage was done. A-list celebrities started declining appearances. Their publicists cited format concerns and trust issues. The show that had relied on star power suddenly found itself blacklisted by major talent agencies. Tom appeared on a podcast weeks later, calm and thoughtful. "I've been in this business for 40 years. I've never walked off a show. But using someone's private spiritual moments as entertainment crosses every line. Whether you agree with my beliefs or not, that footage was from a sacred space." He continued, "What scared me wasn't the exposure. It was the precedent. If they can do that to me, with my lawyers and resources, what can they do to regular people?" The incident sparked a larger conversation about religious privacy in the digital age. Legal scholars debated whether filming inside religious buildings should carry special penalties. But the real impact was on celebrity journalism. The unspoken rules changed. Religious ambushes became toxic, not because of lawsuits, but because audiences had seen the betrayal and rejected it. 6 months later, at a Hollywood event, Tom and Jimmy crossed paths. Witnesses said Jimmy approached to apologize. Tom listened, nodded once, then walked away without a word. The message was clear: some betrayals can't be fixed with apologies. Tom Cruise didn't just walk off a stage that night. He walked away from the tacit agreement that celebrities owe the public everything. He rejected the notion that fame erases the right to private faith. He refused to let his beliefs become someone else's punchline. And in doing so, he reminded Hollywood of something crucial. Even the biggest stars have lines that shouldn't be crossed. Even public figures deserve private moments. Even controversial faiths deserve basic respect. The last real movie star had performed his most important scene. The one where he said no. Where he chose dignity over compliance. Where he showed that some things matter more than publicity. His mission, should he choose to accept it, was to maintain his integrity. Mission accomplished. And everyone saw it. Even Jimmy. Especially Jimmy.